work lately.
at work, but it might probably look like it's hard.
That's the beautiful thing, right? You know, it's the cliche saying of you know, it's not work if you love what you do. But
That's right, man.
it's starting to kind of get the realization that this isn't really the same job that I was doing. You know, having these conversations on a daily basis and the Twitter spaces and whatnot. It's like I'm working, you know, 16, 17 hours a day, but is it work? I don't know.
Right. It feels more like, what they say, when you do what you love, you never have to work a day in your life. Something like that. Do what you love, the money will follow. Love what you do,
Mm.
the money will follow.
So I got a question for you right off the hop because I just happened to see this tweet. You might have seen me tag you in it.
Yeah.
The Aaron Rodgers tattoo. I want to get your thoughts on it for a second. Let me find this tweet. Because I think there's some depth to it, and I know you have a good understanding of the dark and the light, the duality and everything. Um, let me see if I can find this. Yeah, because I seen it's like there's a lion on each side of it.
Right.
One is kind of growling.
And the other
One
one
is
is happy or peaceful.
right. Somebody in the comments had said something about like the Lion of Judah.
Yeah. That definitely came to my mind. The Lion of Judah, or what other type of uh lion, just regular lion nature in a person, seeing the two sides of a lion, that there's a really, there's a majestic, calm, peaceful lion, but there's also a raging lion as well. So it did look like he's repping the two sides of his self. Maybe he's a Leo too.
Yeah,
when
well,
when is he born?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look into that because you see there's obviously constellations above. I would imagine that if he is a Leo, that one of those would be a Leo constellation. I'd have to look into each one of those constellations. But then there's kind of the other shit going on. You know, we see the all-seeing eye, obviously, but then you get into like I see these lines, and it almost looks like the just kind of the old like geometrical diagrams that you see.
The
Uh,
alchemical diagrams, yeah.
yeah,
Well,
and then
it's definitely astrology and astronomy going on in it for sure. You could tell that that that's the foundation of the whole thing, because even that whole circular diagram is based on uh orbits and planetary, celestial body movements.
right now to get your thoughts on the where I get lost on this one is basically the bottom half of the tattoo.
Yeah.
Where what are your initial thoughts when you see it? It's like I see it's almost like a fan. It looks like one of those kind of feather fans. Uh, the whole Earth thing at the bottom there or in the
Yeah.
middle.
Yeah, that's I don't know, like, it seems like it's all imagery that he chose to be together to represent something about him, and it's very, it seems like it's personal to him, like that. Someone said the sun and the inner earth. That's a good correlation, but it really does seem like it's just some of the things that are most meaningful to him in his life that he just medleyed together.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Uh, I, I I got onto this topic because I mean I love having these conversations with you, and you've got a new project coming out that kind of touches on this stuff in an art form in terms of like the whole shamanic aspect.
Yeah.
How excited are you for this, dude? Because I've seen the artwork and I think it's incredible. Now you got music to it, which I think this is where it takes it to a whole nother level. Because like the legendaries in here are incredible. We got a Chris Dyer piece that he
Yeah.
put in.
My,
I think it looked like Toonch grabbed some artists that he knows that aren't even in NFTs
mhm.
to get in on this.
My lady did one.
Your lady did one.
Yeah.
Ooh. All right, so let's get into some of these details. One, the song is. I guess I got to ask, like, how does this work? There's something about you've done multiple versions of this song,
Yeah.
and somehow this is kind of going to be a generative song.
Yeah. So it's you gotta mint 3 of the NFTs to get one of the versions. And
Okay.
if you mint 3, then you get dropped one of the versions of the song. If you mint 3 at a time, you get dropped immediately upon minting. You get dropped one of the 7 versions of the song. And if you collect all 7 versions of the song, there's going to be a special NFT for you that assures that you can collect the royalties or the streaming splits with me and the other artists that I'm working with on this. And so that's one of the things. And then there's 7 different versions of the song. So one is, I think 3 are instrumentals, and then 3 are the regular versions, and then there's one that's like a dance. It seemed like a dance dub remix or something. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, so this is kind of wild, Congo, because we've been brainstorming like how do we get music NFTs started? Like how, and we've went about this a few different ways. You've done your Goblins track, which I thought was awesome, kind of like a low supply of a song with an awesome like art cover. And that being kind of an access token to your future stuff, I think is really interesting. To me, this is the most interesting music concept so far. One, the idea of it being like you getting different versions of a song, I think is really interesting.
Did you see the Forex's card vinyls?
No, but I was a part of the brainstorm meeting for that.
Okay.
So it kind of had the idea that these were going to look insane.
Yeah.
I can imagine that he killed it.
They do.
Yeah, so the idea, I mean, that you already have a following on YouTube and Spotify. Your last album has a whole bunch of downloads. I thought it was really cool that you did the whole vinyls thing with the last album. So there's 55 vinyl records that you can get as NFTs. I thought that was really interesting. Now you get into this whole thing where it's like, if I collect the 7 different versions of the song, I can now get a piece of your Web 2 royalties.
Yeah.
That's insane. This is one of those moments, I think, for a lot of people that are going to be in this space that's going to click for them and go, oh shit, there's something here.
Yeah.
I've thought about this a lot, like in terms of what we do, these content creation and whatnot. This is still in the Web 2 world, and there's still a shit ton of money. The majority of money is in the Web 2 world. When you get into the concept of like, as we build these brands and names come the next bull market, that it becomes an interesting concept. If we're pulling Web 2 royalties from content creation and putting that back into our NFT projects, it incentivizes like, your audience to become bigger because they get a benefit by being in your audience.
Mm-hmm.
And it becomes this flywheel, which is kind of what we've been talking about building with Potluck, where everything just kind of works together and it becomes this like well-oiled machine.
And I see it happening. Potluck is definitely is helping a lot of the machine work. So big ups for that.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time coming. I was having a good conversation with Johnny Blaze from the AVAX community. He does his every day the Power Hour, and
Yeah.
we had a quick conversation yesterday, and he kind of gave us our flowers because he had just recently checked out the Creatures of the Cave 2 mint. I guess he's had a few serums that he was holding, and he
Yeah.
was like, yeah, just I was kind of messing around. I burned a serum, and all of a sudden I had like a new NFT, and he goes like, I had no idea this was going on, and that you'd already had this out for months. And it's kind of that cool moment where for us, it's like starting to realize like, all right, people are starting to take notice. What we thought were these innovative ideas months ago, that never like truly got picked up or came to fruition, are starting to.
Yeah. And they deserve it, and they're bound to. If as long as we keep making sure to look at what we're doing, reevaluate it, see how we can make sure to reach more people with it, because it's not like what these projects are trying to do anything other than, well, the way I look at it is we're creating a complementary currency. Every time we decide we're going to make art into something of value and build our communities around it into having confidence in each other, that's the same thing we're doing with the Federal Reserve notes, but we're choosing to do it in these smaller communities. And that, to me, it's one of the most dangerous things to the Federal Reserve and to the fraudulent bankers, for us to be figuring out this system of how to create our own money and wealth out of our imagination.
No, you're spot on. I do see a question in the chat here. The Wayfarer says, "Well, why did you choose AVAX?" And this is a great question because, again, I don't think people just understand. I don't know anybody else in this entire industry that is doing what you're doing. Have you hit the 30 chain mark yet?
I'm at 29.
29. One more.
I finally got secret in near NFTs, so I got I gotta get one more. I'm probably gonna get like something on Osmosis or Cosmos or something.
Yeah, so I mean, this is kind of insane. Like, you've got NFTs on 29 different blockchains. I bet you 99.9% of people in crypto don't have tokens on 29 different blockchains, never mind NFTs.
Right.
So I have to ask, yeah, why AVAX? You're playing around 29 different chains. Why is AVAX one of the ones that you want to drop a project on?
Well, first of all, it's my brother Tunch, who I'm working with on this project. That's where he originated his shamanic roots collection, and the brother that I'm doing this with, he's a very true and authentic to the to expressing and learning of the spirit from the indigenous and from the ancient, and from his own gnosis. And so we have a very good connection in our building. And he was on AVAX, and True Voodoo was like, y'all need to do something together. And True Voodoo, Potluck was mainly on Phantom, and so he was like, all right, let's do it. It's basically been Phantom and AVAX mints through this community that I've been working with a lot and supporting a lot for months. And so it just made sense for us to do it. But beyond that, the community in AVAX is they're very forward thinking, very enthusiastic, and zealous about supporting each other, about supporting this community economic experiment that we're talking about here. And they it seems real hip hop over there too on AVAX. Like, it's a lot of hip hop on Phantom too, but I would say it's even a little more punk and a little more metalish on Phantom. and AVAX is a little more hip hoppy, but those are just general thing that I'm telling you, we got crazy hip hop stuff on Phantom too. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's an interesting way to put it, dude, because I think that that's kind of what is just happening across chains. It is different chains just have a different vibe, and I think that in the end, I think we're gonna be able to look at them almost like genres of music. Where you're right, man. That the Phantom family does have this kind of punk metal vibe to it. The art style is kind of that way. The whole community is kind of that way in terms of like fuck the system, like don't mess with VCs and this and that. And then AVAX is it does have that like more hip hoppy feel where it's not as like punky in the terms of the art and stuff like this, but in the way they hold spaces all the time, and it's the community is built differently. But there's just a gorgeous vibe to it. Now, I do want to touch on this for a second because you've experienced so many different chains. Have you seen something? And I mean, maybe a bit of a biased perspective because of what we're building with Potluck, but it feels like this Phantom AVAX cross-chain community family is something different that I personally haven't seen on across other chains. But I want your perspective on that. Have you seen kind of two chain communities come together like the way we're doing it right now?
No, this is unheard of and unseen anywhere. There's people who've been attempting to do it, and and there's good relationships between other communities. But as far as what's happening now through the likes of Potluck Protocol and Campfire, nah, nobody's doing it anywhere.
Yeah, no, this is cool to hear because, I mean, it's a long-term perspective, right? Like, and maybe it's just like me being me, but we see the hate, and the hate comments always way harder than the positive comments. We can get 1,000 positive comments a day, and I see that one tweet of somebody hating on Potluck, and it just gets me to the core. So it's been nice to kind of see everything start to come to fruition, but I want to know your perspective on kind of our thought process, because a lot of our thought process has been about the community behind NFTs. That it doesn't matter what the NFT is, it's the community behind it. And we're now about to make the leap over to the big boys. We've got an ETH mint coming up with Heian Lee. And I want to kind of know your thoughts on this. This is kind of some alpha. With a bit of a brainstorm session. So we've been trying to think about, like, we're nervous as hell about this ETH mint. Nervous as hell because we again feel like little fish in this big pond,
right?
Going to make that jump. But we're in an interesting situation where there is nobody in this industry like us. So we were having to basically try to figure out, well, how do we do this ETH mint? We're not going to pay influencers to market this. How do we have like a grassroots marketing campaign and be able to mint this thing out? And I had a bit of I'll call it a come to Jesus moment, where it was just like, I keep researching what other projects are doing and realizing that like that game plan that they're all following, like we don't have to do that. We're different. So I came up with the concept of like our NFTs as the access. So Potluck Discord, we've now reached over 5,000 unique wallets. And because Discord is such a cool tool, you can gate different channels. So the concept is that we have 5,000 plus people in our community. The collection of Cream Meow by Heian Lee is going to be 5,555 pieces. My thought process was I would like our community to get the first opportunity at the mint. If they don't want to mint it, that's fine. But I'd like them to have the first opportunity. So our concept is we're going to have a gated channel where everybody that has a Potluck NFT will have access to, and only those people will have access to. The mint will happen at public will go at 8 p.m. UTC next Friday. Basically, you have to be in that because that's where the mint link will drop at that time. Now, what my thought process is that if we have 5,000 people, if all of those people just want to get one, well, that almost mints out the collection. You've only got 555 pieces left. Now, the way to bring the ETH people into our community, or Solana folks for this mint, is by actually we can give away Potluck NFTs, which then kind of brings them into our ecosystem just to learn about stuff. This is what we're seeing a lot of when it comes to people mint a Potluck NFT. They get in our Discord, all of a sudden they're like, what is all going on here? I'm going to go check out these other projects. And then all of a sudden you start seeing a little bit of a sweep happen on a bunch of the older projects.
Mm-hmm.
So our concept is, well, if we can get these people into our Discord before mint even happens, well, this is good news.
Yeah.
And then I guess a lot of the idea is that it's almost trying to get our community to rally. If our 5,000 people mint one of these things and rock it as a PFP, and we have the Phantom and AVAX community rocking an ETH PFP mint, showcasing to that community, like, look, two chains just came together to show love on ETH. Yeah, what are your thoughts on this whole concept?
Well, since y'all said y'all not paying influencers, I'm not gonna give you my thoughts.
Okay.
No, I'm just messing around. I'm just messing around.
Pay up, baby.
No, it's an excellent idea, and I think it goes towards that building of the confidence in the currency that we're creating, and just rallying behind it together. Like Hey Young Lee, I've just recently been introduced, and I'm like totally impressed by the art. I've been, I'm a little disappointed that I'm not gonna be able to do my little, mint about 10 phantoms of it, 10 of them off of Phantom. But I know it's a good move to do it on ETH. It's gonna bring enough people to the ecosystem, especially if it's earning fame. Like if it's earning fame and you tell these people, your fame is the fame going to be earned in ETH, or is it going to be earned? Because if y'all make the fame be earned in AVAX or Phantom, then they have to venture over to the ecosystem as well to get their they're labs. They're labs. I mean, they're labs. My bad.
So so I guess when I brought the idea up, Voodoo had a good point of like, well, if we're trying to get the ETH people, like maybe it's not best to give them like a Phantom or AVAX NFT because it's like an extra step. You might be asking them to do a little bit too much to try to get in on this mint. So our workaround of that was anybody in the community can still give out a Potluck NFT and bring those people into access if they want to set up a Phantom and AVAX wallet or whatever. But we had Hey on Lee create up the Creammeow access passes. So we put them on a Polygon contract. And the reason for that is they show up on OpenSea and we can give them to the ETH people. So it's still a Potluck NFT that will allow them into the gated Discord channel. Okay. But then they don't need to set up a Phantom or AVAX wallet yet. It's the idea of like, all right, we don't want to make them make too many steps, but once they get the ETH NFT or they mint the NFT, well, now you're going to kind of check out the Potluck ecosystem. And that's where the idea is you're going to want to bridge back to Phantom to reap the benefits. And that's where, you can just hold your PFP over on ETH if you want to and hope it goes up in value and like, that whole thing. Or you can try to reap the benefits of our ecosystem where it's traverse it or bridge it over and start collecting the labs or stake it for the Phantom Fang. Because I think
Yeah, that makes sense.
again, that's our whole concept for like how I got involved in Phantom and AVAX was just like once you use the tech, you're like, all right, the tech's there. Then you get kind of involved in the community. You're like, oh well, why would I leave this? Like it's kind of nice over here.
For sure. That's what got me moving over here. I mean, I was using Binance Smart Chain too first, and so I definitely had a taste of some good gas fees and things moving similarly, but there's a huge difference still with uh, the foundation of these two or these three chains. Like from what I know, from my limited knowing, it's just AVAX and Phantom is striving for greater decentralization than Binance Smart Chain ever will.
Yeah, and then that's the one thing I like about Phantom, right? And I mean, it's no hate on AVAX. I love what AVAX is doing, but part of the bullish case on Phantom is that whole, you know, it's a decentralized network, and we're trying to decentralize it more with the nodes and all, or the validators and all that. But then the aspect of like Binance is also building a SEX on Phantom, so it's like now you get to have both aspects of it. You get to have the decentralized network, and if you want to go play on a centralized, BSC thing, well, that's going to be on top of Phantom as well. So I think that's one of the big bullish cases to Phantom, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
And I did see actually, I'm intrigued. I think it's later this week or next week. Chainlink is sitting down with Michael Kong of the Phantom Foundation to talk the Chainlink VRF and the keepers. And Chainlink's got that big Twitter following, so that's going to look good for the Phantom Foundation and Michael Kong.
Yeah.
But let's get back into your shamanic tribe project. So we're gonna have 1,500 pieces. I believe it's 750 on both AVAX, 750 on Phantom.
And it's a trip. It's like you can only get the track if you mint 3, and so that means there's only at the most gonna be 500 tracks. But
right.
When you divide 500 tracks by 7, because there's 7 different versions, there's only going to be 70 of each track even available. And if people mint 3 at a time, and who knows, a lot of people are just going to mint 1 at a time, 2 at a time. So it's going to be a lot. The amount of these songs is going to be so little. I'm praying that I can collect all of my own versions myself.
Yeah. Well, that's the fun of it, right? Once you get into these like kind of mechanics, that was it's similar to the Ultimate Pass mechanics in the idea of like, all right, we got a collection of 1111, and there's 10 different things. Everybody, depending on how many people mint them, then you got to collect all 10 to burn for the Ultimate Pass. Well, it might be their only Platinum Pass, and if that's a whitelist spot, well, how much? Like, if they might want to get rid of that for you to complete your set. So all of a sudden, you might only have 10 people complete the set of the songs, but that's 10 people getting to collect those royalties from that Web 2 stuff. So I really like this concept, and I will definitely be going after. I'll be going after the set for sure. I want in on the Illuminati Congo business.
Man, well, we got other stuff planned. So the way I see this, this is a great pioneering step into just being able to do stuff when you have the idea and you can solidly execute it. But there's like platforms out here that are making these types of profit sharing with the collectors even more efficient in all on blockchain, which I want to do that just as well. The issue is, uh, all my listeners aren't just on blockchain. Most of my listeners are on Web 2. And so it does make sense to be able to offer as many ways of allowing profit sharing, allowing listen to earn opportunities, and so we're in the works of exploring as many as we can that seem solid, good teams right now.
No, it's awesome.
Even building our own, even working on building our own. That's in the works too.
Damn. Yeah. So, well, and the interesting aspect of this, like, again, because this all comes under the Potluck banner, we got some cool shit coming too. I mean, Voodoo yesterday, a couple big announcements. The whole Swole Chads thing is kind of like from a free, like, I kind of went through the story of this, but like when the market first kind of went through the downturn, you know, a few red days, hard red days, we did that Giga Chad mint.
Yeah.
Anyway, free mint, 10,000 pieces, the exact same NFT. It lets everybody use this PFP, and maybe we'll change the market around. It was a fun couple days. It bounced, you know, for a couple days.
And it felt like it, you know, we did see the little spike in the price on Phantom at that
Yeah.
time, and we like to take credit for that, but
yeah, exactly. So then, as you know, we kind of do, even though it was a free mint, it's still like, well, we want to continue to try to bring value to this. So then it was like, all right, let's do a big burn mechanic. Burn 20 of these things, get one of those cool, like, I forget what those ones are called. Not the Giga Chads. What are they called?
I forgot the second level.
So then and that's like a kind of a really limited supply, because you got to mint, or you got to burn 20 Giga Chads to get one of them. And again, a limited supply by Sarge, typically fucking really good in value. So that worked out great. And then those people who had, I think, 2 of them got airdropped a Swole Chad. And now, because the Swole Chads thing is going crazy, now it's like we just got sandbox land for Swole Beach, which is a huge step for us, because that puts us in the ETH metaverse with something where we can host potluck events on Swole Beach in the metaverse. Slothtopia is like starting to really come to fruition. Really excited to start moving some stuff into Slothtopia. I started building up my first gallery, and so the stuff we'll be able to implement in there is going to be awesome. Then we got the new Phantom Survivor partnership, which is massive, because that's we basically have a Potluck gaming division now.
When I seen that, I was so happy, because, you know, I had scooped a couple of those already, and I was always concerned, like, yo, I need to make sure that this team actually follows through and does it, even though they had the game already. But I just wanted to make sure that they were, you know, recognized, and now that we working with them, Potluck working with them, I'm so geeked about that.
So let's talk about this for a minute. Team behind Phantom Survivor, that is now basically Team Potluck, Feeple is now under the Potluck name. The Phantom Survivor.
I thought you said Beeple for a moment. I was
no, sorry, Feeple.
I'm just playing.
Feeple for the people.
No, so, Feeple is raw.
Yeah, so I mean, there's gonna be mini games coming to that soon. Same developer, this guy Liam is the lead developer behind Phantom Survivor. Also, lead developer behind Slothtopia. So this whole beautiful partnership is just the things that we can do. Like, Liam is just a incredible mind. And obviously you can look at Slothtopia and just go, yeah, dude is building something special. But even the stuff that we're implementing into Phantom Survivor, there's going to be a couple implementations coming sooner than later. You're going to be able to, so right now it's a really fun game. Like, it's legitimately a fun game to play.
Mm-hmm.
And as you run around and grab these, you know, those chests, you'll be able to burn Potluck NFTs to get their in-game token, which then you can use to give you power-ups in-game. So you're going to see our kind of like whatever collections that we have that are the floors maybe be lower than we would want, or the market's not there. Well, those collections are going to start getting ripped up because you can burn NFTs to earn their token for power-ups. We're also going to be implementing custom skins. So you'll be able to get different Potluck NFT skins if you hold a Phantom Survivor and one of our Potluck NFTs from whatever collection. Though the really interesting aspect is, okay, so you got a gaming world and there's buildings. Well, I've always looked at these metaverses and games as like that's empty advertising space. If I'm a game and I'm showing 1,000 users on a daily basis, like why can't I put advertisements in my game? Mm-hmm. Okay, so instead of doing company advertisements, I get to pull out my spray can in game, go over to a building, and I get to tag a building with an NFT. By tagging the building with the NFT, it burns that NFT and it puts it on the building. Now, as long as my NFT is on the building, I'm earning an in-game revenue, like an in-game token from the revenue of that advertisement being your NFT being on the building. So then you get into the idea of like basically tagging wars. Whereas as long as my NFT is up on the wall, I'm getting paid in some kind of token. All right, well, I'm just going to go in and start putting up a couple NFTs so I can earn a token. But that's also burning a supply of our previous collections, which I think is huge because even this morning, I'm just going through some of our collections. This is the one feature I really like NFT Key for, is that you can go over to that Teams section on NFT Key and just you can kind of see all of our. Here, I'll load up the screen here. Teams, go over to Potluck Labs, and you can just go through all our collections. So I was going through some of these today, and something like the Bach Kid llamas. I absolutely love the llamas, but floor right now at 15 FTM. This is probably one of the early collections that's going to start getting burnt up. And again, only 5 of them get burnt, and you're at mint price. Or sorry, this wasn't even a mint. This was a free airdrop.
I remember I got one. So I had to go. I had to go buy another one.
Yeah. So as these get burned up, like it doesn't take many to get burnt, and your floor's sitting fucking pretty. And again, as we're burning our collection supplies and bringing more wallets into the ecosystem that are looking around for early Potluck projects, it just feels like things are starting to finally come into fruition here. These partnerships have they've been so long out. And we haven't been able to, because it's crazy stuff being built, that stuff takes a lot of time. And now it's almost there where we finally get to start implementing some of this stuff. Because even going back to like Creature of the Cave, we're still waiting on, because of some of the GameFly projects being built and stuff, we're waiting on the developer Triton to finish up our Burn 5 contract. So like
Triton taking his little genius time, huh?
Triton is something else, dude. He is just incredible. And building like 4 different awesome games. Like
I'm saying, man, I'm ready for the bobbleheads, man. I'm ready to get my bobbleheads on. He got the bobbleheads. He got the Phantom drug dealers and the drugs.
So that's the thing. Yeah. Again, another really fun game. Bobbleheads, I think, is going to be a great game. And through Potluck partnership, we're going to be trying to implement features in that, whether it's burning NFTs and stuff. So I'm super excited to see some of this stuff finally starting to come and play out. Because we're even just seeing it through some of our collections. Like I was kind of going through some of our collections earlier, and because all of our collections now.
Rug.
Like the floors are all so thin. So then you start burning up stuff and it's like, wow, this finally you start seeing the value play out, which is as kind of one of the creators of all of this, again, I'm so excited to see this all starting to play out. But let's go back to what's going on with what you're doing. So you got Shamanic Root, or the Shamanic Tribe is going to be releasing. I seen you were making you did a music video the other week. You're constantly doing performances.
Oh yeah, the music video. That was cool. That was with my friend for his album. That he got a song with Flatbush Zombies, or with one of the Flatbush Zombies. So it was cool to work in the video with the family.
I like this comment. I couldn't tell you how to say that guy's name, but token on that NFT vibe.
No
I like
doubt.
that. I like that. The double word play on token. I feel like that's a bar.
No doubt. might have to steal that. No, I never stole a bar in my life.
Yo, okay, so let's get on to this music topic. Because you had an awesome tweet the other day. We're talking about this. I'm kind of the same styling of when I write something. It's one way through. I don't even know how to write in the idea of that I would stop on this bar, restart on this next bar. Like I don't know how to write that way. Yeah, let's get into this as an artist. Like
sometimes knowing how to do that is good for if you really want to arrange songs in a certain way, and like you have like an architect and you're trying to design a thing. So, but very often it's good also to just flow with it, write with it, and just have what comes up from there, and then arrange things around what came from you lyrically. There's so many different ways to do it. There's combinations of those things. Some people don't even write nothing. They just go do the cadence and the melody of the song without any words, and then go back and fill in the cadence and the melody that they was doing with words into the same cadence and melody. It's so interesting. Someone was asking for your for what your YouTube is.
I'm trying to drop it in the chat, but my thing's not working. If you're looking for my channel,
I see it in there. I see it. It's in my. Yeah.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, it's in there twice. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, we got a comment here. Hey, I love you support artists on AVAX Network. I came in to say this. I'll get out soon. Sezgin Ozgur. I probably butchered that name, but dude, what an incredible artist. I don't know if you've seen his stuff. He's got these like AVAX pills, and then he's got these kind of new PFP characters that he's doing. Incredible quality.
I don't know if I've seen him yet.
Yeah, I would look that guy up on Twitter because that's a collection that I would definitely be looking at. That's awesome.
Okay.
All right. Well, yeah. So, yeah, this is interesting because I've been now that when you said that the other day, like I feel like I've been listening to a lot of hip hop the last couple of days, and like there's a few artists that I've noticed that I think a lot of their stuff is kind of written in that, line by line form. When you're putting things together. So for me, I noticed in myself, I'm not a melody guy. Like I have a really hard time coming up with that like little bridge or whatever you call it. Do you find that first? Or like, what's your writing process?
For me, I'm not such of a melodic person in my raps that often, and so it's usually all about the story, the the wordplay and and the words for me at the because that's what I came into hip hop doing. And as a shorty, I got more into reggae and would hear more melodies and harmonies going on in that, and I would want to involve it in my music, and I have to an extent, and it keeps expanding more and more, but it's never a priority for me to sing or to have any type of melody in what I do. It's the cadence and the delivery, the energy, and the lyrics, and the reason for the song. You know, the reason for the song, because sometimes, I guess there's a virtue to a song with no meaning and no reason to it. I love music with no meaning and no reason to it, and I listen to it, but it's just usually not the type of artist that I am. Usually there's going to be some type of intention and uh, a thought process to why I'm saying the lyrics that I'm saying.
Now I gotta ask this because it's something that me personally, I know for a fact that I'm horrendous at it. Um, how bad are you with like bearing on yourself when you're writing something? You're putting something down on paper. You're, I got a couple bars together, and it's like this one bar, for whatever reason, it's just not along the same message, or it's just not hitting the same. How many times do you go back over that bar and go and like until it's where you want it, or
Well,
are you much more like if
sometimes I don't.
it flowed this way?
Yeah, sometimes I don't recognize it, and I end up laying the song down. Sometimes I don't scan it, and I go back, and I'm like, yo, I can't even put, like, I got some like with uh Southern Empire. Uh this is little alpha that don't even need to be said right now, but today there's something. It's not me, but there's something happening with Southern Empire today. I will be aware of that, but uh I laid this song down over this Nimbus beat, and I was like, I thought it was fire when I was laying it down. You know what I'm saying? And I got up and then I listened to it yesterday, and I was like, yo, I gotta rewrite this whole thing. It just
Mhm.
it just was not hidden. So I just canceled the whole thing. Sometimes I'm writing stuff and I'll go back and I'll see the lines and I'll be like, okay, this is saying what I want to say, but it's not fun. It's not
Mhm.
funny. It's not, there's nothing witty or there's nothing necessarily captivating about it. It's just some words. So I have to, or it's something I've said in a similar way before, or things of that nature. I scan the raps for them things after it's done, or while I'm in the process of doing it, to make sure that I'm not repeating the same type of things, the same rhymes with rhyming words with other rhyming words, because sometimes we might just keep dream and steam and clean, and it's like, no, so, don't
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
repeat those ones again. Then
yep.
find other ways to say stuff. So
Yeah. This is interesting. I think it's something that I need to just kind of go with it more. I almost just like way too. There's almost like way too much thought going on. Where it's like, as I'm putting bars together, like things sound good, it makes sense, but
mhm.
then for whatever reason, like in my head, it's like, yeah, but it's not A plus plus plus. Like
I've
people got if you ain't got to like sit back and like dive into it, like I don't want it. But at the same time, it's like that that's probably not. I'm probably being a little bit too ridiculous with it.
Yeah, yeah, because there's something beautiful about some simple shit,
Mm,
like 50 Cent. One of the most simple, no, he's like one or two syllabic rhymes. You know what I'm saying? It's hardly any more than that. It's so simple, but he was cold for what he was doing when he was doing it. Even
Right.
Snoop Dogg, he has a very simple way of communicating what he's saying. He don't get real complex with stuff, and it's really just being coming from who you are with something simple is really good.
I'm glad you brought up that Snoop point because it's something that I noticed in in his recent song with Eminem. I forget what word it was, but like he just totally pronounced it in a way that nobody would ever pronounce it that way speaking. But like it made sense for the song, and like as a listener, it hits fine.
Yeah,
And like there's that
and it stands out.
There's a brief second where I'm like, you wouldn't say it like that, but at the same, when I play that song and it's going and I'm singing along with it, like it's like nothing.
For sure.
Even the song I've been hooked on it lately because I think it's probably Drake's best work. The Churchill Downs song with Jack Harlow. I'm not a big Jack Harlow guy. I'm kind of learning his story now. But he's got an interesting thing where he'll double back a line, and like it's kind of one of those things where in rap you're not really supposed to, where you rhyme the same word with the same word on the next bar, but he'll do it maybe once or twice in a song. And I've noticed for myself, it's actually one of my favorite bars that like I kind of get into when I'm fucking around with it. And it's one of those things where if I ever put that on paper, I'd be going over that a million times, going like, no, that can't be. Why am I like? Meanwhile, he just put it in, and I'm loving it as a listener. So it's kind of. I'm realizing that I'm way too much of my own critic, and I need to just kind of let things flow sometimes. Like you said, there's a beauty in simplicity at times.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I gave you that LFG song to do, because it's let's fucking go. Record that shit and send it to Menace so we could put it out on this album, brother.
Yeah, no facts. Yeah, I need to finish that. I think I got like 25 seconds left. I need to finish, and then that is donezo.
Yeah, you got a long part. We gave you a long part in the middle of that song.
That's okay. I like it. Yeah, man. I'm excited to see where this space continues to trend. We're gonna have to jump off this and move to the Twitter realm and start up our conversation with the Twitterverse. But I appreciate everybody in here that's listening. Let's run through some comments quickly. We got the Bug Bouncer. I can relate. I'm my own toughest critic. I can imagine that's the sentiment of a lot of people. Also said, dude on the left is giving me Crimo vibes. Who's Crimo?
I don't know. And who's on the left? That must be you.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's me, but I don't know who Crimo is. Old Restless, you're gonna have to.
Cremo. I don't know who that is either. Devin the Dude.
Yeah, back to the 50 talk. 50 is dope on I'm the Man. I heard a Snoop 10 years ago called Scorpion King. I think that's what it was called. I can't find the track anywhere. It was the dopest beat I ever heard, though. That's one thing I noticed. I want to hear M produce more, to be honest, because that beat.
He said Cremo, the 4th of July shooter. That the dude, what was his name? Awake the Rapper. Did you listen to him?
No.
The dude who did the shooting up down the street from my crib?
No, I didn't. He's a musician?
Huh?
He was a rapper?
Yeah, and he wasn't bad at all. He wasn't bad. I went and listened that day, and because I was trying to see, when I seen his name, Awake the Rap, I was like, and it's Highland Park. That's not too far from where I stay, and I was like, yo, this is. Let me check him out, and maybe I might know the dude or something. I didn't know him, but I listened to the song, and he had a 47. I think he had a 47 tattooed on his face or something. So that means he was tapping into like the pro era, the Capital Steez type of hip hop, but he was decent. He was decent, and it's really weird. Whatever happened, I don't know what happened at the 4th of July. In Highland Park.
Do we separate the art from the artist here?
Yo, nah, not in this case.
Yeah, crazy times in the world, man.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I'll get your thoughts on the whole. We'll move to the Twitter space because I want to get your thoughts on the whole R. Kelly getting 10 years more than Ghislaine.
Yo, it's
Anyways,
some weird stuff.
folks,
But we'll talk. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna move over to Twitter and fire up a Twitter Spaces. I've dropped the link in the chat, so we're gonna move over to Twitter and
come over to Twitter. It's
come over to Twitter.
Tribe. If you're listening.
Yeah, and you can in the Twitter space, you'll be able to jump up on stage, ask us questions. So feel free. But we're gonna bounce. We're gonna go over to Twitter.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Appreciate it.
Peace.